Hey, what is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I want to talk about what happened at the European Open and show you guys Anthony Barela's catastrophic meltdown on hole 16 and just show you guys how quickly it can get away from you and just show you how difficult it can be to win a major coming down the stretch. So ultimately on this hole, there is no drop zone. So to be able to advance, you have to land it in the island. So Barela throws what he thinks is his best shot. It's that forehand hyzer, goes long, and now he needs to rethrow again, going for a similar line. And I think one of the trickiest parts about a shot like this is the disc you threw first is the disc that you thought you had the best chance with, and so on and so forth. So now Barela throws his second disc. So now he's 3 discs deep. So this is going to be his third best option to execute this shot. So although you've thrown the shot, several times, it starts mounting in your mind that, wow, this is not my first choice. This is not my second choice. This is not my third choice. Barela's still trying to stick this forehand hyzer in there. This is his 4th disc, going just ever so slightly long. Now he's pulling out his 5th disc, still trying to execute the forehand hyzer just to get onto the green at this point. But at this point, we pretty much all know that his hopes of winning the European Open are pretty much over when he really was the favorite coming down the stretch. And it was some of the best disc golf we've seen from AB all year. And I would have loved to see AB win the major. And we get our eyes back on Barela, still trying to get into the green here. Hopefully this one goes in, and he barely sticks it. And now this is what champions are made of here. Corey Ellis, approaching his lie, zone in hand, just needs to stick one in the green and put himself in the absolute driver's seat to win the event. Sticks it first try. He's going to be tapping in a birdie. With that shot, he's going to gain 5 strokes over Anthony Barela. So we'll take a look at the scorecard here. We can see that Anthony Barela carded an 8 on the hole versus Corey Ellis's 3, losing 5 strokes on Ellis and shooting himself out of the tournament on 1 hole. Now, Scott Stokely also had some feedback on the situation, so we'll look at Scott's opinion on this, and then I'll give my thoughts, and we'll wrap up the video.
Most island holes now have a drop zone. And sometimes it's even a drop zone where you can save par, with a good shot, but sometimes, it's a drop zone where you're going to lay up because of the OB. The thing is about a drop zone is that you miss the island and take a penalty stroke and go to a drop zone. That's a 2-stroke penalty over people that made the island. There was a time at this tournament today where you would have gone from 1st place to 6th place with that 2-stroke penalty. I mean, to a professional disc golfer, a 2-stroke penalty usually will cost you the tournament. That is a massive penalty for making a bad throw. The problem with not having a drop zone is that it creates a situation where you get the train wreck. And there's nothing about that that's exciting to me. It makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach when it happens to me. It makes me sick to my stomach when I see somebody that, they saved up the money to take their vacation to go to a tournament, and they have their entire tournament ruined in 2.5 minutes on a hole. And that doesn't happen much anymore because they have drop zones. But back before drop zones, that's what happened. But watching the Pro Tour, I guess the reason I feel the way I do is because we're still a family. We're still a small sport, and these are our friends. And there's nothing exciting about watching my friends go through this. It's not exciting. It's not exciting to me. And, it can be exciting to other people, and they're not wrong. It's an opinion. It's subjective. But it just, all it does is make me sick to my stomach. And I don't want to see our friends go through this. I made the joke one time, the last time I made a video about this, that if it was the PGA Tour and every single player out there has basically got $1 million contracts, and every single one of them is going to charge $1,000 an hour for private lessons at the country club after they retire. Yeah, I'm not, my heart isn't breaking too much for you if you have a train wreck. You're set for life. Good for you. Happy for you. But that's not the case yet in our sport. We're watching people's dreams and careers riding on 90 seconds of disc golf, and I just don't like it. And
so that's where I'm going to stop Scott Stokely here. I will link his video in the description below. I've obviously been a big fan of Scott Stokely, and he's been in disc golf basically longer than anybody else. So I very highly value his opinion on things like this. But I do disagree with his opinion. I think coming down the stretch, a few courses a year, it is okay to have a situation like this where there is no drop zone in play. I think it's extremely exciting from a spectator standpoint. And myself personally, I'm friends with a very small handful of players on tour. And yeah, it would be heartbreaking for me to see those specific players get themselves into a situation like this. But I don't have those same friendships that Stokely has with the players that this is happening to most of the time. So when I'm watching it from a spectator point of view, and I'm watching the player in the lead coming down the stretch, I know that the entire tournament has led up to this moment. And that apex where, if Barela lands that first shot with the zone onto the green, I mean, the crowd would have exploded and there would have been a crazy apex. And unfortunately, that's not what happened in this case scenario. And, Barela took his 8, and then Corey Ellis lands it on the green first try. And that is what champions are made of. That moment, Barela did not have a champion level shot, and Corey Ellis did, and Corey Ellis was able to close it out and win the European Open. So that's my opinion. I think it is very exciting. Maybe week in and week out, it shouldn't be a thing, but we only have essentially 2 tournaments a year where this is really a major concern. And it's at the European Open, which is a major, and it's at the USDGC, which is a major. So when we have the 2 of the biggest tournaments of the year having a hole like this where you need to be able to close it out, I think it's really exciting from a spectator standpoint. And heartbreak is a part of sports. I always say there's the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and sports are going to put that on display more than any other thing on this planet, basically. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this. Comment yours down below. You guys are watching Iceberg TV, and take care.